All yours, Shannon.
Thank you, Ron, and greetings, credit union partners. And a shout out to everyone out there on International Credit Union Day, which was last week. You work amazing magic for your members and for your community. Today we have the one and only Ron Vainberg here, ready to share his insights on real estate agents and what they potentially mean to you and your business. But please allow me a brief moment to remind you of all the training tools Arch has available for you, your team, and also your first-time homebuyers. With time being such a precious commodity right now, use our industry-leading podcasts and webinars, which are both live and recorded, to sharpen your saw. And the ready-made roadmap to home ownership toolkit is perfect for one-on-one discussions, as well as to help you create your own home buying seminar. Go out online to our website and take a look, or reach out to your account manager for further details. So providing you with tools to improve your skills and broaden your knowledge are critical components to a solid partnership. So it's only fitting that today we bring you Ron Vainberg, an international success strategist, trainer, and coach to mortgage professionals. During his 36-year career, Ron has been a top-producing mortgage originator, a real estate agent, and mortgage company owner, which has allowed him to identify core competencies required to succeed at the highest possible level. Now, I could go on all day sharing with you the accolades that Ron has, but it's simple math. Our webinar last month with Ron had over 82% attendance rate, and 50 minutes into the webinar, less than 5 people had dropped off the webinar. We had some of the greatest comments from all credit unions who had attended, saying this was one of the best webinars I have attended. Thank you so much. We knew that we had Ron, who resonates so well with you, and he has such a good understanding of the value that your credit union members have with you and the unique relationship that you have with them. But as I also mentioned last month, Ron is not all mortgages all the time. I will tell you, he has a deep love for the Miami Dolphins. And you can't see it in his shot today, his screenshot today, but he has
There it is.
well, here we go. Yeah, baby.
There. And then we got helmet and football there, so we can show it.
He has an autographed shirt from the Miami Dolphins 1972 team, which of course is the last time that they have won a Super Bowl. Now, Ron, I'm going to tell you, they're 3-3. They're on a 2-game winning streak, and they just announced about an hour ago that Tua is their new starting quarterback. So you
know more than I do right now.
Hey, I'm a sports fan. So Tua is your man, and you just may see your team go to the Super Bowl. After all, other things have happened in 2020.
That is true, but that'll never happen. That's not going to happen. But go ahead. I appreciate the optimism, but that's just so not going to happen.
There you go. You got to have it somewhere. So back to reality, I'll tell you, today we're excited to hear from you, Ron. The knowledge of how real estate agents work in today's market to help you choose the best partners to fuel your success. So Ron, allow me to introduce you to our credit union.
Thank you all for having me. And I think a lot of you are second timers with me. Looking at the list, a lot of you are coming back from the first webinar, so I thank you. I'm always appreciative of people that will tolerate me more than once. Today's program is a little bit different than a traditional training webinar, although there are going to be strategies that I'm going to be giving you, but the title of this program is The Truth About Real Estate Agents. In fact, let me just share my screen so this way we get that taken care of. Share the screen. Okay, that's it. All right, so we're going to just get that. All right. So Shannon, just double checking. It's full screen, right? My PowerPoint showing up on the screen? Yes, okay, cool. All right. So with that, what we're going to do, we're going to kick this off about the truth about real estate agents. But here's the thing. There's lots of ways for you to build and grow your business. So it's referral partners, it's realtors. Oh, in fact, let me just open up, get this onto the screen. I apologize. Yeah, this control bar just keeps disappearing, and I'm not sure why. Ah, there we go. Okay. So now. Okay. I'm seeing things coming in on the chat. People are still talking about the Dolphins. Okay, let's move off the Dolphins and let's focus on on business, at least for just another 58 minutes. Being serious though, as far as the truth about real estate agents, there's lots of ways for you to grow your business. There's never just one way. And unfortunately, a lot of times what will happen is, there'll be webinars out there and they'll say, this is the way you got to do it or what have you. And I don't believe in that, because I believe there's many ways for you to succeed. But the reason why we chose this topic is because, yes, we're still in the middle of refi mania, and, is it going to end tomorrow? Is it going to end next week, next month, next year? We don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen with rates. The election is a wild card, a vaccine is a wild card, a COVID resurgence is a wild card. There's so many wild cards as to what can impact your business. The truth of it is, though, is when it gets impacted, it's going to happen quickly. It always does. Okay, rates don't move up slowly. They move up dramatically. And when I say dramatically, that could be 30 basis points, it could be 40 basis points, it could be 50 basis points, but it's enough to change the flow of business that's coming in the door. And I don't want, I don't want to go sideways on the topic here. Actually, I'm just going to move this screen over here. Sorry about that. So I don't want to go, way off topic for that. But the reason why we chose this topic is because there's a lot of mixed messages out there. Some people say, oh, you got to do business with realtors. And some say, no, you don't, because realtors are going to be gone in a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. What I did is I actually, a number of months ago, I'm not a big stats guy, but I said, let me look up the statistics. Let me see what's really going on with realtors. What is accurate? What is the truth? And, I don't want to see the headlines. And we are in a world right now that we have no idea what even the truth is anymore. By the way, I'll just give you a quick side note. The other night, I highly recommend this as a watch because it's disturbingly interesting. And it's a program called The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix, and it's all about how social media, these companies operate behind the scenes to keep you engaged in social media. I was absolutely fascinated by it, a little disturbed by it too. So I do recommend that, if you get a chance, take a look at that program, because social media, not only about what their message was on the program, which I don't want to get into, but is social media the way that we're going to be doing business in the future, or is it not? Because social media is getting very crowded and it's getting very hard to get noticed. So whether you want to do your business with social media, you want to do your business with realtors, attorneys, accountants, financial planners, you want to just market to your database in your credit union, the choices are numerous. But what I wanted to do is I went on this quest to find out, well, what is really the truth about what's happening with real estate agents? Are they going to be part of our future? Are they not? And, depending on what angle somebody has, somebody's saying my audio is dragging. Is anybody else having an issue with my audio? No? Okay, Shannon's saying no. All right, I just adjusted my mic, so maybe, all right. So sorry, Patrick. So I'm not going to tell you how to build your business. Nobody should tell you how to build your business. They can give you recommendations on how to build it. And I just want to share with you what a lot of people don't know when it comes to real estate agents. And then you can draw your own conclusion whether they should be part of your business growth strategy or not. I have my feelings on it. And this is not the first time I've seen this information, but it's going to be the first time that you're seeing it. So I'm going to ask you, look at it with an open mind, and then make the decision that's right for you. And nothing has to be an absolute decision, but at least you're going to leave this program today knowing whether I should make real estate agents part of my business future or I shouldn't. So that here is the goal. So with that, get back over here. So what are we going to do today? What we're going to do today is we're going to clearly define the facts versus the myths about homebuyer behavior. Okay, so this is just about agents. This is about homebuyer behavior. Uncover LO agent relationship mistakes. So there are mistakes that loan officers make with developing real estate agents. So there is a training portion to this program, which hopefully will resonate, especially if you are doing business with realtors at the present time or plan on it. 3 keys to productive agent relationships. And then also finally answering the question, are agent relationships right for you? So we've got a lot of things that we're going to cover in a very short period of time. I'm going to throw a lot of things at you. Just take notes. A few of you have emailed about that you didn't get the handout. Maybe you registered late or didn't see it in your email or what have you. We can make sure that you get the handout. In fact, Shannon, what I can do is after this, later on today, we can even, instead of you just manually emailing it out, we could actually, when we announce the recordings available, we can send out a link to where they could just download it to make it a little bit easier than having to individually email people. So we'll take care of that for you. So let's jump in. So as a trainer, as a coach, this is what I hear from loan officers. Some loan officers love working with real estate agents. Some people say agent referrals are often unpredictable. And by the way, this isn't even just loan officers saying this. These are certain types of lead generation companies that are out there broadcasting that this is what agents are like, or what it's like to do business with agents. So they'll say, agents are referrals are often unpredictable. Some loan officers will say getting business from agents feels like begging. In fact, that's a very common one that I hear. And then some people will say you've got to pay to get agent business. So, the old expression is you got to pay to play. So you either got to do sponsored marketing for them, or, sponsor a dinner, or also, I mean, we're talking a little bit pre-COVID because right now nobody's really getting together with anything for the most part. But they were talking about that you need money to really work with agents. Well, is some of this true? Absolutely. Is this true, what's on your screen, for all agents? The answer is no, it's not. But what we need to find out is right here. Almost every lead company out there. Now, granted, my audience today here, which is the credit unions, is a little bit different than the typical mortgage broker or mortgage banker world. And what I mean by that, in the mortgage broker, mortgage banker world, a lot of those companies, an individual loan officer may make a decision to purchase leads, or a branch manager may make decisions to purchase leads, or what have you, or control the internet presence, where in a broker or banker community, individuals can make those decisions. In credit unions, it's a top-down format. And it's not that one is better than the other. It's just that there are two different ways that things are operated. A credit union works in a certain world or a certain way, and mortgage brokering and mortgage banking work in another way. But here's one thing that we just keep hearing over and over and over. In fact, I'm going to ask the question. I put up on the screen, and it says 97% of buyers use the internet for their home search. So open up your chat box and tell me if you've ever heard this before. Just say yes, or if you have a different number, just, I'm looking at the chat. Okay, I'm getting I don't know if you guys are seeing the chat or not, but I'm seeing it. Yeah, a lot of yeses are coming in. Some people said not quite that high. Seems reasonable. Yes. Okay. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of yeses. By the way, I thank you for playing with me today in the chat box. A few of you, somebody have said 90%. So the numbers range between 90 and 97% that you hear quoted out there. Now, obviously, the higher this number is, the more it creates a belief that the dependency is on the internet, and that you really have to, and this is the other part of advertising, is where they say, you've got to get to the leads first. You've got to get to them before the agents. Now, I'm going to show you learn how to talk, Ron. I'm going to show you some statistics in just a couple of minutes that in all likelihood are going to blow your mind, because I can tell you they blew my mind. I couldn't believe what I had found. So I'm going to start sharing this with you so you understand what's really happening. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to bring up here is you see on your screen, it says the 2020 home buyers and sellers generational trends. And you'll see, actually I can do this here. See, I started playing with this yesterday, so you get the benefit of this, okay? Where I get to circle things on my screen. So here we see the National Association of Realtors. So I'm a mind reader, so I know what most people are going to think. They're going to say, National Association of Realtors, this is going to be jaded because they're going to write something in their favor. That was my thought too, until I dug into the report. And when I dug into the report, I wanted to know, where is this data coming from? This data doesn't come from the National Association of Realtors. It actually comes from Experian, okay? Because Experian, tracks mortgages, okay? Because they're reporting on them. So what happened is, this is not a NAR report. This is Experian data that is compiled by NAR, National Association of Realtors, and put out. So I just want you to understand that this is actually very, very objective information, and it's not really skewed at all, because it's not an association, it's Experian, which is a reporting agency. So at the bottom of your screen, it's going to show you that the methodology was, I can't, let me just try and see. There we go. So this report has been done every year since 2013. NAR has been putting this report out now this is the 7th year of the report that they've done this. 159,750 surveys were sent out by Experian. It was a 125 question survey mailed to recent home buyers. They received 5,870 responses, 3.7 response. And if you've ever done any kind of direct mail, you'll know that those numbers are right in line with normal responses for surveys and even just direct mail marketing. But this wasn't a marketing piece, it was a survey. The survey went all the way up until, it's the 12 months leading up to July of 2019. That's the latest data that's available. They have not yet completed compiling the report, which is going to come out for the 2021 report, which is going to be the 2020 data. It's always, about 12 months behind. The reality of it is that even if it's 12 months behind, even if it's 24 months behind, you're going to see that the trends have not changed much. But when you see what I'm going to talk about on the trends, it's going to probably shock most of you. So remember that 97% of people start their search online. So again, this is Experian data. If we look here, so we've got, make sure I got my writer here. All buyers, it averages out to 93%. Okay, but here we've got, look at this age group, 22 to 29, 97%, 30 to 39, 98%, 40 to 54, 97%. So what's happening is that this is the number of people that go to websites to search for homes. This shouldn't be surprising anybody, and as you can see, the numbers are going to go down as we go across, the stat chart. Okay, and having the high numbers, especially in the millennial age group, should not surprise anybody. But now look at these next numbers. Okay, let me just how many people use a real estate agent in their home search? The average here is 87%. Look at the number here in 22 to 29, 89%, 86% in 30 to 39. It starts going down, although there is a jump at the 65 to 73-year-old range. Again, I'm not a big stats guy, but here's my point. Yes, people are starting their home search online. Do you know who has more listings on the internet that people can search than everybody else? And that is real estate agents. See, the lead companies, what they don't tell you is that the home searches are leading people to real estate agent websites, because they don't want you to know that, because if you knew that, then it would disprove their whole thing that realtors are going to be gone. But if I'm an internet company, if I'm a lead generation company, it doesn't serve me to tell you, guess what? All the leads or most of the leads are going to realtors. Okay. That would hurt me as a company. I'm better off just stating that 97% or 93% or whatever your number is of people are buying their or are finding their or doing a home search online. That's going to lead you to believe, if there's no other clarification, that realtors are not involved or they're becoming less involved. Okay. And this argument, I will tell you, I'll share this story with you. It's got to be about, I'm going to say, 20, probably about 30 years ago. Okay. Yeah, I'm dating myself. Okay. I know how old I am. About 30 years ago, maybe even more, I was at a Mortgage Bankers Association conference. It was in, if I remember correctly, I think San Francisco. And I remember I was in the back of the room. I was sitting next to someone else that I knew in the business. I'm in the last row in this breakout session. And in the front of the room, it was either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac and a technology company. And I will never forget, the person goes up in the front of the room. And just to set the stage here, there's a big TV, like a Sony Trinitron. Some of you might not know what that is. Yes, I just dated myself again. Okay, but that used to be the TV. Anyway, they had this big TV with this thing called a VCR underneath it. And what they did is they tapped the top of the TV and they said, these two devices are going to eliminate the need for real estate agents. And I said, certainly I sat up in my chair and it got my interest. And their whole premise was that people would be able to buy homes through their TV. Okay, so if you could buy homes through your TV, you get videotapes sent to you, and then this is when cable advertising on homes was just starting, those home shows. This was going to eliminate the realtor, and I literally sat back, and I have a lot of forecasts that aren't right, but I was dead on with this one. I looked at my colleague, and I said, that'll not going to happen. And he looks at me, he goes, why not? And I go, because they're missing one big point. And I go, the point they're missing is, a home is a very emotional decision, and the more emotional a decision is being made, the more human interaction is required. And he looked at me, he goes, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So I go, let's see what happens. So I'll go back to that story. It's the same concept. If you remember this company, it was a company that was going to bankrupt the movie industry. It was called Blockbuster. Okay? Most of us are old enough to remember that we used to go into Blockbuster and rent tapes. Okay. Eventually, we were able even to rent the DVDs. That was cutting edge, and that was going to bankrupt the movie industry. Why didn't it bankrupt the movie industry? Because human beings still had a need to get out of the house. Okay, we still needed a night out. We still need to interact and engage. So it couldn't all be technology driven. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because that's what's happening here. The reason why realtors are involved, not only because leads are being driven to them, but because there is an emotional element to purchasing a home. So let me, I'm going to keep going, but I'm hoping that this is making sense so far. So method of home purchase. Okay, so if we go back, just remember we have, all, real estate agents are getting all of these leads. So the method of home purchase, though, buying through a realtor, look at these numbers across the top. Okay, look at these numbers all the way across the top here. Average at 89%. Millennials, who are supposed to hate human interaction, the 22 to 29-year-old and the 30 to 39-year-old, don't ask me where exactly that date ranges where they're not millennials anymore, but it's somewhere in there. They're the highest on this page. 92% that work with realtors. So that is counterintuitive to everything you hear about technology and the millennial age group. Okay, and the numbers still remain very high all the way across the board. Okay, but it's not just because leads are being generated online and going to realtors. Okay, there's more reasons why realtors are involved, which we're going to go to. Okay, actions, just a little side note. Actually, time out for a second. Okay, I'm going to go over to the chat box, which is on a separate screen here. Going over the chat box, So far right now, at least what I've presented, I haven't drawn any conclusions yet, but at least what I've presented conceptually, does it make sense? So am I making sense? But if I'm making sense, you can't type in the chat box yes. You have to type another word. Okay, you can't just say yes. You got to come up with something more creative. Okay, makes sense. I'm getting a bunch of victory. I like that. Thank you, Scott. Absolutely. Yepper doodle. I love that one. Completely clear. Indeed. For sure. All right. You are JC himself. Oh, okay. Okay, I got one person who's saying no. Matthew, I would love to be able to say that it's not making sense, but okay. All right, so we're getting a lot of people confirming. And by the way, I don't expect 100% of anything or anybody to agree with what I'm saying. Okay, here's the really cool thing. As long as you tie into the momentum of the masses when it comes to marketing, when it comes to taking specific actions, and you're in sales, you will do incredibly well. Because there's always exceptions, and the exceptions are not wrong. Okay, the exceptions just have a different belief or a different focus on something, and it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be successful in any way, shape, or form. It just means that there's just not one way to do things. But in sales, I'm a very big believer that if you work with momentum, okay, if you follow the momentum, if you ride the waves that exist, your ability to succeed becomes much easier and much faster. You know, we are not a technology company. I am not a technology company. You're not a technology company. We are not Apple. We are not Google. We are not Facebook. We are not Tesla. We are not creating something that doesn't exist. What we're looking to do is be successful in an environment that already exists and maximize our opportunity. We're not looking to when I say we, I'm talking about collectively as a group of sales professionals. We're not collectively looking to revolutionize the mortgage industry. At least I'm not. And most of the people that I coach and train aren't. But they want to maximize the benefit to the people that they can serve, and also, of course, to themselves as a sales professional. And that's where riding the waves and riding momentum works. So let me go back, back to my screen here. Wait, somebody did ask me, do you anticipate the number of those not walking through the home to increase for the next few years? Daniel, that's a great question. Do I think buyer habits will change a little bit over the next few years? I think they will, but do I think dramatically? No. And I'm just giving, my opinion to the question as to why I don't think it'll be a dramatic change, because you're still dealing with a purchase that is very, very highly emotional. Okay. And, most people I know can't really see purchasing a home without smelling it, touching it, feeling it, walking through, because there is an emotional connection. There is a slight growth in the amount of population that is not going to be as emotionally connected to a home, but it's going to be a very, very gradual progression. And I truly believe it's only going to go so far. I don't believe that there's going to be a whole revolution. Am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I think it's going to be, because one thing that I've noticed is nothing in the housing industry ever changes very fast. Technology wants you to make you believe that it changes super fast. But what I will ask you is, every one of you are working at a credit union. How fast or how dramatically and how quickly has your loan process changed over the last 10 years? Okay. And this is not a credit union aspect. This is a mortgage industry aspect, which we are very, very slow to adapt. In fact, what a lot of people haven't even really necessarily connected is that the meltdown actually forced us to go backwards about 20 years, because prior to the meltdown, there was all these automated underwriting systems. Today the automated underwriting systems are Fannie and DU and LP. Okay, all of these other ones are out there, but nobody's really counting on them for lending decisions. And even when you get a DU or an LP decision, you still need a human being to go over it again to make sure that whatever the system came up with, because everybody's afraid of getting burned by a downturn in the market where all of a sudden now financially there's repurchases again. I'm getting a little off topic here, but the answer is nothing in our business ever changes dramatically. It doesn't change, it doesn't change rapidly. Okay. And you can look back at the history, and even in the age of the advent of technology that we have in our industry, buyer behavior, consumer behavior, even loan officer behavior hasn't changed much. So, long answer to a short question. Back to this. So, actions resulted of an internet home search. Okay. Average number of buyers found a mortgage lender online. Okay. 20% average pre-qualify online. These numbers are going up, but they are still very low compared to where borrowers are getting their financing from. It's still a very small percentage, because if it's averaging 11%, and then only 20% of them are doing the pre-qualification over online, what that's saying to you is that guess who still needs to be heavily involved? Both realtors and loan officers, because people still need to have that connection. But I'm going to take this even a step further. This is why people are using realtors. Because of honesty, integrity, and look at the numbers on the knowledge of the purchase process. Look right here along this line. Okay, this one right here. The internet is creating confusion. Okay? There is so much, I forgot what the number is, of how much new pages are added to the internet every single second. It's some number that you can't even fathom as to how much is being added to the internet every single second. Okay? So here's the point. The more information there is, the more people get confused. Somebody asked me, have you seen the number of people working with Rocket Mortgage and internet lenders? The numbers have gone up, but it still represents a very small percentage of the number of people who are actually getting mortgage financing. There's an illusion out there, and the illusion out there is that you can't even pump your gas in your car without seeing an ad for Rocket Mortgage. Okay? And I know that in my place, they're on that, what is it, gas station TV, GSTV or whatever it is. You know, they're always advertising in there. They're in practically every sports arena. They have their own sports arenas named after them. Okay, and that's just one particular company. Yes, there are people that are using internet lenders, but the percentage, if you look at the entire industry, when you break it down between banks, mortgage bankers, mortgage brokers, credit unions, in no particular order, the percentage of people that are working with online lenders is still a low number when you take it out over how many mortgage companies and how many loan officers are out there. How can I say this with complete confidence? Because I don't work with Rocket Mortgage. Okay, I do work with their wholesale division, Quicken Loans, but I don't work with Rocket Mortgage. I don't work with their retail division. I work with mortgage bankers, brokers, credit unions, and banks all around the country, all across the country. And there is no shortage of volume. Even before the refi boom hit, there was no shortage of volume that people were losing business or significant business to internet lenders. Okay. All I can do is I can share with you my experience, but I'm not worried about the competition. What I worry about as a sales professional is, am I going to do what I need to do to get the business? Okay. When you start focusing on what your competition is doing, you need to be aware of what they're doing. But when you're focused and worrying about your competition, that's then taking your focus off what you need to do, which is marketing and prospecting for relationships or business. You know, somebody did say before, you know, it's still not clear yet as to why I'd want to work with realtors. Well, if this many people, if 89% of people are using a realtor to purchase a home, and realtors still play a huge part in influencing borrowers as to where to get their financing, that to me is a market that I want to be part of, because the numbers really haven't changed much significantly. About 20 years ago, it was about 92% of people that purchased a home used a realtor. Today it's 89%. The numbers have barely moved with all the advancements in technology. Okay. Knowledge of real estate market. Again, we're in these high numbers as to why people are using and still continue to use realtors. Every one of you that's an originator, I am sure that you've had a borrower, you've had a conversation with them, whether it was for a refinance or a purchase. They said something to you that they read or saw online, and it was completely inaccurate. Okay. Now I know I could put that out to the chat box, and the chat box would probably blow up with a whole bunch of you saying, absolutely, that's happened. My question to you is, have you ever been on the internet? The answer is, of course, yes, but I didn't finish the question. Have you ever been on the internet and you found conflicting information? And I'm sure you did. And then what you did is you actually started talking doing things the old-fashioned way, talking to human beings to actually get a better understanding of the information that was being presented to you. Everybody has an angle, everybody has a perception, everybody has a pitch that they want to make in order to get you to make a buying decision with them. And unfortunately, when you're just looking at it online, it creates more confusion, because the internet, one thing it struggles with, and this is not a smaller struggle now, it's getting bigger by the second, is more and more people trust the information on the internet less and less. Just think about that for a second. We're making an emotional decision, a very emotional, financial and emotional decision to purchase a home, to go into the biggest debt of our life if we're a consumer. Now you're going on a device that every other second, I'm not making a political statement, but we hear fake news. We hear the words fake news. We hear accusations of fake news. We go on, we see misinformation. We're now in the age of, what is it called? Not TikTok. Deep fake videos. If you've ever heard of that, deep fake videos. I think it's deep fake. Deep fake videos are where a video can actually be manipulated in such a way that you actually make the person on the video seem like they're saying something that they're not even saying. There was one that went all around the internet that it was a deep fake video that was done to former President Obama. Okay, got him, it looked very real. Unless you look super close, it looked super real, that they got him to say on this video something that was absolutely words that he had never spoken. Okay. Technology is creating this distrust for everything that we have coming at us, which is why relationships are so important. So whether it's realtors we're talking about or whomever, humans still have a need to interact, and you've got to just keep that in the back of your head, actually in the front of your head, because however you're going to build your business, realize that human interaction plays a very big part in it. So the reason why all of this is happening, why human interaction is, and I've said this before, is, I'll say it again, the more emotional a buying decision is, the more human engagement is desired and needed. So even if you decide that realtors are not right for you, but you want to have other referral sources, whether it's divorce attorneys or insurance agents or accountants or financial planners or a sphere of influence or networking functions when they start coming back after, we get COVID under control, the bottom line is that becomes a repeat business for you, because once you establish referral partner relationships, it becomes an annuity for you of business that continues to grow. Okay. Emotions related to purchasing a home. Some people are scared. Some people are nervous. Some people are just downright unsure. Some people are just thinking about their family. My question to you is, does online solve that for most people? And the answer is no. The answer is absolutely no. So I am here telling you, and I will tell you as a coach and a trainer, that my clients, I work with my personal coaching clients, I work with a number of people who are top originators. Okay, they're in the top 1 or 2% of all originators in volume in the country. Not all of them, but many of them. And they're all working through relationships. They all have just incredible referral partner relationships with a sphere of influence, which would include realtors, attorneys, accountants, financial planners, and just their own networking that they do. and their business continues to grow despite the belief that technology is taking everything over. Okay, so I'm hoping this is really, starting to resonate with you. Now, final piece that I want to show you in statistics. I showed you this before, 89%. This is 2020's report. 2013, look at the number. It's the same. The age group actually, the demographic changed slightly, but it went to 90%, it went up to 92%. And 33 to 47 went up to 92% also. So there's your proof that buying behavior when it comes to real estate is not really changing despite what you hear and see on the internet. The numbers don't lie, and these are experienced numbers, not NAR numbers. I want to reiterate that because people believe that it's NAR and it's not. Okay, and if you don't look for the little disclaimer, it says where the data comes from, you would draw the conclusion that this is jaded, but it's not. Okay, so bottom line is buyer behavior is not really changing, and realtors are playing a major role in getting people into homes, and it is not declining. It has not been declining at all. So where do we go from here? Just answer these questions real quick. Is buyer purchasing certainty higher or lower today? Meaning, do people feel more confident going into the buying process, or are there more things that they're worried about? Okay. Home purchasing prior to 2008, I referenced this before. Home purchasing before 2008, if you had a pulse, you could get yourself a loan. Okay, we all remember it. I still have people that wish, they say, I wish it would go back to the way it used to be. And I look at them, are like, are you out of your mind? It's not going back that way. It's not where you can just, touch somebody's wrist and say, hey, you know what? You can fog a mirror, you're going to get a mortgage. The no income, no asset, no pulse, no brain loans are all gone now. They're illegal. Okay, I know there are some loans that have come back a little bit way, but not to the extreme that they were. Okay, after the financial crisis, home purchasing decisions take longer. Financing decisions take longer. Why? Because most people got hammered in 2008 with the meltdown. And that's a lesson that many people learned, and you don't forget. It's like if you've ever talked to somebody who went through the Depression, okay? The Depression changed their behavior, it changed how they saved money. It changed how they spent money, because there's such a strong association to what happened. And I'm sure many of you that I'm speaking with, you went through the 2008 financial crisis on some level, and it changed the way you look at money and decisions that you make. So it's not just me, it's not just you, it's society. The reason why I talk about all this is because when you understand psychology, when you understand people's behavior, your ability to get people to want to do business with you because they like you and they trust you and they believe that you're really going to help them goes up dramatically, because you know how to connect to those emotional needs that they're looking for. And housing is super emotional, so it gives you so much opportunity to create that connection. And I just want you to leverage that as much as possible. And the reality is, you work in credit unions. In the finance industry, in my own personal experience, so I'm speaking for Ron Bainberg, but in the finance industry, there's no financing institutions that have more loyalty than credit unions. Now, is it as strong as it used to be 5 years ago or 10 years ago? No, because the internet has made it more competitive against you. But there's still a level of trust that people work with you at credit unions that no other lending institution has the pleasure of experiencing. And that's something that the credit union world has focused on from day one, at least all the years that I've been involved in credit unions, and not even just as a trainer and a coach, but just knowing about them in the lending industry. It was something I remember when I was a originator many years ago. I used to lose business to you guys all the time, because even if I had a better rate, I still couldn't get the customer to commit to me because they were so loyal to you. Is it the same today? No. But is it still very strong? Yes. And I want you to be able to leverage that. Making a decision to move. Again, the more emotional these things are, the longer people take, and the more human interaction is required. Okay. So, bottom line is, all of these factors that I'm giving you create confusion make people feel lost, unsure, insecure, unclear, perplexed. All of these street signs or pointer signs that you see on your screen lead more people to need connection with a human being that they like and trust that will help them navigate this process of buying a home. So I've thrown out a lot of data for you. Okay. It's up to you whether you want to accept it, believe it. But what I will say to you is you work for credit unions. So you already know what kind of relationships exist between you and your members. Okay. Now we can take it out further, and you got to ask yourself, are agent relationships right for you? Okay. I can't answer that for you. I have my belief, and my belief is that if I'm going back to originating, I am absolutely going into that real estate community. In fact, right now, I am going to go into that real estate community super hard. Okay, this is a little bit of a side note here, a little side topic. I'm going into the real estate community super hard because here's what's happening right now. What's happening is that the majority of loan officers, and maybe a few of you on this program today, but the majority of loan officers are buried, here in refis. I have clients who are real estate agents, successful real estate agents, and I ask them this question. I go, are you being reached out? How many loan officers are reaching out to you to develop relationships with you for purchase business? And almost every one of them says, none. In fact, I'll share this story with you. This just happened last week. I just had to think of it because I coached with my client today. This is a gentleman. His name is Bill. He's from Massachusetts. I did a coaching call with him today. I've been coaching him for 8 years. Very successful, does very well. He sends me a text, and his text says, you got a minute? And I'm like, sure. My clients have access to me, so I say, sure. So I call him up, and I go, Bill, what's up? He goes, I got to ask you a question. And he sounded very, very perplexed. I go, what's up? He goes, I just got 3 real estate agent meetings to, realtors I'm not doing business with, but they all agreed to meet with me. And it goes, they all basically said the same thing. I go, what did they say? He goes, they all said that they're pretty much fed up with their existing loan officer. And I said, well, why? And he said, they all said the same thing. Because they're not returning their phone calls in a timely manner. They're not calling their clients leads that they give them in a timely manner. And overall, that their service has declined dramatically. But the biggest issue is a lack of communication. And I've been saying this all along, that loan officers are so buried in their refinances. First of all, I told Bill, you're not crazy. I go, the thing is, though, so few loan officers are paying attention to this, which leaves the door of opportunity wide open for anybody who's willing to use this device. I always make the joke. I go, I already know you can still make phone calls with these things. Okay. That's why my screen's cracked, by the way. He's reaching out, and he was just kind of shocked that he had gotten that response. And I want you to understand, there's even another thing that's working to your advantage. I know a lot of people are afraid of meeting people face to face with COVID and what have you. And I'm not telling you to put yourself in health or harm's way. But here's the next thing. I'm doing this presentation to you. To me, this is like, every day for me now. I'm on a webinar, doing some kind of broadcast, some type of training, coaching, whatever it is. Do I miss being live in front of people? Absolutely, because that's just a whole different feeling. But what's happened is you on the other end as sales professionals, you're used to trainings like this. Okay, you're used to trainings within your company like this. You're used to conference calls. But what most people have not yet adapted to, most sales professionals have not adapted to, especially in the mortgage industry, is that they could have 2 people on screen in Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting or whatever program you're using, or even FaceTime on your phone if you got an iPhone, or Skype on your phone, whatever, I don't care. Or WhatsApp. I mean, at this point, there's so many ways you can do video conferencing. My point is that as much as we are so used to doing everything on video, we've all done our home, our home our home parties, or birthday parties or whatever it is. But most salespeople are struggling with selling over the computer. They're struggling with selling over the camera or through the camera. And I want you to understand, if you know the questions to ask and you know how to have the dialogue, it's okay to do it. Most people are looking at what selling is virtually as this completely different animal. There are some nuances to it, but the gold for you, the diamonds for you, is that so few people are in our business are doing it, that the door is wide open for you to develop relationships with anybody and persuade people to want to do business with you. Okay. You also have this other piece of gold because you have clients that will call you before they'll ever call a realtor. So you have the ability to use those leads. I'm going to get a little off topic here for a second, but you could use those leads as relationship generators with realtors. Okay. There are so many opportunities for you to develop relationships, not just because you're in a credit union. Credit union gives you an extra advantage, but there's just so many opportunities because I know what your competitors are doing, and they're either buried in refinances and or they have this fear of selling via virtual presentation. So there's a lot of opportunity. Finally, the 5 mistakes, or just about finally, the 5 mistakes that LOs make in agent relationships. I'm going to go through this quickly. 1, lack of performance and understanding and setting standards with agents, meaning if you're going to develop a relationship with agents, you have to understand what their expectations are. You have to set that up. You have to set standards for yourself as to what you're willing to do and what they're going and how they're going to work with you. A lot of loan officers approach developing agent relationships from a place of weakness versus a place of strength. We don't set up rules of engagement. When I was a loan officer, and I tell this with all of my clients, you don't say you're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because the moment you don't answer your phone, they're not going to be loyal to you. You have to set up what are the rules of engagement? What are the expectations that they have that you're going to communicate with them? Now, if you're going to go into an agent and say, look, I want to work with you, but I'm never going to answer my phone on a weekend, you're going to have a lot less agents that are going to actually want to do business with you. That I can tell you because they're busiest on the weekends. Okay. But you have to decide what those boundaries are going to be and have that conversation with the agent so there's no misunderstanding later on. Okay. And then you've got to consistently ask, how do we make our relationship better? What else can I do to serve you? What else can I do to serve your clients? Most loan officers, once they start getting business from an agent, guess what they do? They take it for granted. Let me show you how vulnerable you are, or you meaning any loan officer. Loan officers get their relationship with the agent. They start doing business together. The loan officer consistently thanks the agent for the referrals, but never asks, what, if anything, can I do better? If the agent's not complaining, the loan officers just kind of say, leave it alone. Now, here comes Ron Bainberg, and I am not brilliant. I'm a smart guy. But what I do know how to do is I know how to ask the right questions. So I get a meeting with your agent that you're doing business with. So first of all, if I get the meeting with the agent, the door is already open for me because they can't be that committed to you if they're willing to meet with me. But I walk into the meeting, they tell me they already have an existing relationship. I say, great, I completely respect that. I go, sounds like you're very committed to them. What is it that you like that your current loan officer does for you? So they give that to me, I write it down. So now they're telling me exactly what's important to them. And then I ask this question, I say, if there's one thing, just one thing you wish they could do or do better, what would that be? There's always one thing. And the moment they answer that one thing, door swings open for me. Because now I know something that you as their loan officer don't know. When you know the questions to ask, it's not about what you say, it's about what you ask. And when you know the questions to ask, it's absolutely amazing how people will just roll out the red carpet for you and tell you exactly what you need to know in order to win their business. So whether it's agents, attorneys, accountants, I don't care who it is, borrowers, when you know the questions to ask, you can get them to roll out the red carpet or the yellow brick road to lead you to the pot of gold to do business with them. But most loan officers are so focused, I don't know what to say. What I want you to focus on is, what do you ask? And you never stop. I don't care how many relationships you have. You never stopping searching for new relationships for two reasons. One, some of the relationships you have will get stolen away from you. Some of the relationships you'll lose because something went wrong on a deal and they're not going to give you a second chance. And in some cases, you might have relationships that you might decide this person isn't worth working with anymore. So I want to get somebody better in. But I always say, get the person better in before you get rid of someone who's already sending you business. Okay. Hope that's making sense. So finally, the 5 keys to succeeding with agents is decide on how your business will operate, what your standards are going to be. You've got to create your value added positioning. So I just gave you an example. As a credit union, you do have members who will ask you for, or you can facilitate a conversation that could put you in the position to introduce them, your clients, to realtors and help them grow their business. Okay. Decide who your ideal target agent is. Don't just go for any agent. Decide who is your ideal target. And it's not just about production. It's production and personality, character. If you're a humble individual and you're going to try and develop a relationship with the agent who's an egomaniac, it's going to fail miserably. It's one of the reasons why I don't coach egomaniacs, because I don't play in the sandbox well with them. I can deal with them for a short period of time, but after that, it doesn't work anymore because it's so opposite of who I am. I'm confident, but I'm not feeding my ego, and I'm not looking to do that for other people just so they'll like me. So I know who my target audience is. It's one of the reasons why I love, love, love working in the credit union world, because the personality, the temperament of credit unions, and I'm not just saying this, Shannon's heard me say this, or, Ira's heard me say this. Many people in the credit union world have heard me say this. I love the credit union world because they truly care about their clients. I'm not saying others don't, but the way you work is in a way, it's more connection to your clients. And it can be also more connection to referral partners. And there's a huge population that will appreciate that and want to do business with you. You already know this, but we can leverage these concepts to make it even bigger. You've got to master a presentation. You can't just wing it. Okay. Most people just kind of wing whatever they're going to do with borrowers. They're going to wing whatever they're going to do with referral partners. You have to have a planned presentation. And I want you to be selective. I want you to be selective and consistent. Don't just work with anybody. Know who you want to work with. Decide who you want to work with and target those people, and then be consistent in your prospecting. So I hope this is making sense for you. So what are your actions? Your actions very simply are, you've got to make a decision as to how you want to build your purchase business. But what I will tell you is, I know you're super busy with refis. Don't be like everybody else. Even if it's one new relationship a month that you've developed, I just want you, as your coach for today, I want you to just develop one new relationship every month or every week. You're going to decide on how often it's going to be, but I want you to just develop that one new relationship. Keep yourself moving towards where the business is going, because the refis will go away. We just don't know when. Okay. With that, when reaching out to a realtor you never worked with, do you have suggestions on verbiage for convincing them why we have to have FaceTime or meeting with you? Okay, Kim, that is an awesome question, which I'm not going to answer right now, but I've got a great answer for you. Okay. Hey, Shannon, I don't see you on my screen. I'm assuming up there you are. She's coming on back. Okay. So Kim, your question leads us into the final piece of the conversation we're going to have today. And again, I know I'm going over by a couple minutes, so I apologize. If you got to go, but if you can stick on, appreciate it. So mark your calendar for November 12th, same time, 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, 1 o'clock East Coast time. I know we have people across the country, so 1 o'clock East Coast time, bottom line, same time. And Shannon, when is December?
I unmute myself. It is December the 10th. December 10th.
That's December 10th. It sounds right. Okay,
Yeah.
so November 12th, and December 10th, because here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be finishing out the year super strong. On December, on those 2 dates, myself together with Arch, we're doing a 2-part program. And the 2-part program is all about how to get the attention of agents and how to win the relationships when you meet virtually or face-to-face with them. So, Kim, there's no simple answer, but over those next 2 sessions, which are going to be 1 hour each, we're going to dive deep into the strategies on exactly how to develop great agent relationships very quickly. So, right, Shannon, that's what we're doing?
You got it.
Okay. Now, what I will say to all of you, okay, this is going to be a program, it's going to be focused on agents for, in 1 hour segments. So what we're going to do, though, what I'm doing is you're going to receive an email. I don't want to do a big promotion or anything. You're going to receive an email from me about the question is, will we be sending out an invite? The answer is absolutely yes. I'm also doing a program in November. It's a 4-part program called Purchase Bootcamp. And it's all about mastering the art of developing purchase business. So it's not just for credit unions, it's for every originator out there, where we're going to get into the psychology of referral partners, and we're going to learn many different ways, not just realtors, how to develop relationships with attorneys, accountants, financial planners, how to network. There's many different aspects. And what I did is I broke it up into 4 2-hour sessions. Okay. You're going to receive an invite for it. What we're doing is I'm selling ticket locations for it. You're going to get a discount code because of Arch. And if you have any questions, you'll be able to reach back to me. I don't want to take your valuable time. I don't want to make this into a sales pitch. I just want to let you know that this is another program that I'm offering that goes super deep into step-by-step how to really rapidly build a long-term purchase business. But what I will tell you is, whether you can make the Purchase Bootcamp, which is a phenomenal program, make sure you're on the next 2 Arch programs. Oh, and most importantly, this is the final thing, and I'm going to turn it back to you, Shannon. Just remember, everybody needs PMI. So if they're putting down more than 20%, you say no, put down less. Right, Shannon?
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And I actually am going to turn this over to Chad. Thank you, Ron. And Chad, take it away.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Ron. I always learn so much. I mean, I think this is probably about the 6th session that most of them were in person, and the last 2 have been over the web. So still get excellent content from Ron. And I will add, as somebody that's going through the home buying process myself, my family and I were looking to move out of state. A realtor is extremely important, especially when you're moving outside of your comfort zone or the area that you're in. So I think as more Americans are transitioning away from urban areas and from one state to the next, I think that's going to even increase that demand over time. So, and like you said, it is a very emotional and a large purchase. So you want that professional, that's what they do on a regular basis. And for everybody on the phone here, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but you have, as credit unions and as the credit union industry, we have something that the realtors want, and that's portfolio products. I mean, the Quickens of the world and all the other brokers and lenders out there, they cannot compete with us on the product side. And we know they definitely can't compete with us on the relationship side. So I always view it as credit unions coming from a position of strength. And then for the one last plug, when you do have those members that don't have the 20% to put down, with Arch MI, we are the only MI company that has our Rate Star buy down program, which will allow your member to adjust their MI premium to suit their needs. And so give them more opportunities to serve your members and get more members into homes. And so with that, on behalf of myself, Arch and Ron, we want to thank you for your time. We know your time is valuable and look forward to seeing you on our next session.
See you in November.
In November. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Shannon, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all for attending. And look forward to seeing you in less than a month, a few weeks. Take care, everybody.